have a committee meeting about it. Stick it on and send him out.
Hello out there in internet land. This is the proper episode 1 of the 2025 season of the F1 Chat. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Returning this year again is my cohort from day one. It's JB. JB, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're back. We're on the doorstep of the season proper now.
Yep.
Hell yeah, ready to go.
So we got a little bit of house cleaning we got to do. So I just want to clarify first of all, there is no falling out before the internet blows up. There is no falling out between us and Longhorn.
We aren't Max Verstappen and Lando Norris.
Absolutely.
The tabloids are going to, make it out to what it was.
Now, Longhorn's not going to be on as many episodes this year.
But I'm sure he'll make it when he can.
He'll make it when he can. He'll send in to us what he wants us to say, like a puppet with his hand up our backside. But we just want to say congratulations to Longhorn and Mrs. Longhorn, because they are expecting. And that's why Longhorn's not going to be on as often this year, because that takes precedence over this. So
dad duty is a hell of a lot more important than shooting the breeze here on the F1 Chat.
But, he will pop his head in once in a blue moon. So, congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Longhorn. And just want you to know that if it is a boy, my name is spelled Phil. So just make sure you get that right when you name him.
It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. That Williams polo shirt's already in the mail. It's on the way, full fan gear. Probably one of those, baby race suits. One of those, full-on overalls. The full race suits on the way.
Oh, he's going to have the bed. When he grows up, he's going to have the F1
the
bed.
race car bed.
Painted in Williams colours.
Absolutely. Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon when they win the World Drivers' Championship.
The backboard's going to have Canon painted on it. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But we may have another guest showing up. I just got to broker the deal with them, but we might have another guest coming in to keep Longhorn's seat a little bit warmish. So,
yeah. Other than that, it's going to be the old P&J's. We're back.
We're back. We're glad. You're black, I'm mad.
We're P&Jing podcasting for a bit.
So, yeah, we just wanted to clear that up. And, hopefully Longhorn doesn't send us a message going, "Oi, what you fucking talk about that for?"
Well, I'm sure all of our 5 listeners probably know anyway.
Yeah. Righty-ho. So, this episode, we're going to be talking about the liveries, about testing, and we're going to do some rankings.
Yes, we are.
So let's talk about some liveries.
Let's go.
Let's go. First livery, Alpine.
Alpine. It's very blue. It's very blue and not a lot of pink. I thought it might have been the other way around.
I don't know, man, because
they usually do the double drop of the predominantly blue livery and then the predominantly pink livery comes after it. But
the sad thing about it is when I watch testing, because I actually watch testing, unlike The Race, that YouTube channel, The Race.
I watched their previews today and I wasn't very sold on it. I would have loved to watch testing. I was at work.
I did watch testing. And the most unlikely thing you will ever hear me say is going to happen on this episode. But it's coming up. Looking at the Alpine in the testing, it kind of, it looked blue and it has the pink on it, but it kind of looked like a Mercedes.
Really?
In the daylight, it kind of looked more like a Mercedes.
It's got the pink nose and the Mercedes has that silver nose.
Yeah, but
actually, yeah, looking at the daylight, that looks like it's a pale pink.
Yeah.
From a distance, you could mistake that for almost silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that would be. I mean, from the side, it's definitely an Alpine, but from the front, yeah, you could probably.
Because of the black.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of black on there.
Yeah.
But, it's not a bad livery. It's
No.
not a bad livery.
No, it's not.
I just hope they don't do that thing where they flip it where it's got predominantly pink with a little bit of blue on it, because then it goes ghastly. Then it starts to look like a fucking Force India. The Pink Panther.
Yeah, but at least you could tell it was a Alpine from a distance. Like, you know, have that thing running beside a Williams, okay, it's got the pink nose, but from the side, they're both very blue. And from a distance, you could confuse the two. Or at least you could last year.
Yeah.
See how it goes this year.
And their driver lineup this year is Pierre Gasly and Jack Doohan. But Jack Doohan has a cloud above his head because they've also got Colapinto as their reserve driver.
And Briatore overseeing proceedings.
Well, here's the thing. They interviewed Oliver Oakes, who is the team principal at Alpine. They asked him at testing about Jack Doohan, and he said, Jack Doohan is our driver. We've signed him. He is here to be our driver for this year. And he said, it's only the media that's drumming up this Colapinto could replace him anytime soon. A week ago, the F1 media asked Flavio Briatore, how long is Jack Doohan going to be in that car? And all he did was look at his watch and then look it back at the person. And the rumour is that Colapinto, Doohan's got until, I think, Spain, or the first 6 races or something. And if he hasn't proven himself, he's out and Colapinto's in.
That's... Well, what's the point of signing Doohan then?
Yeah.
Like, it's like we've said it, it's like they've got no faith in him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't understand. I understand, like, why sign him if you're immediately, like, going to put him under even more pressure with it, Colapinto's good, but Doohan's an unproven quality too. Like, he hasn't really done much. Yeah, he raced in Abu Dhabi, but that was it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they're not giving him a fair shake. I don't understand the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't want to get burned with the Piastri fiasco again.
Yeah, but
It's like, well, if we wind up losing him, we'll have Colapinto, but you've got to make a choice. Like, who did you actually want?
if you didn't want Doohan in the they signed Doohan because they wanted the driver. Then they did a deal with Williams that got Colapinto because they knew they weren't keeping Colapinto because they've got Carlos Sainz. Why didn't they just buy Doohan out of his contract, tear it up, and put Colapinto in the car? If they're so worried that Doohan's not going to be the goods, it's just...
Who's to say Colapinto's going to be the goods?
Exactly.
He had, 2 good races.
Yeah.
And then binned the car at
Brazil.
6 times, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he had shit before. He had 2 good races when he first came in. And then was shit after that.
Yeah.
They're not even giving Jack a fair shake at the... I hope Jack comes out and just blows Gasly away.
Yeah. I hope so too.
Comes out, dominates Gasly, becomes the lead driver, and makes fucking Flavio Briatore shut his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So, as if Jack needed any more pressure.
Yeah.
You got that bullshit over his head.
Yeah, you almost want to just walk in and go, look, just tear up my contract. I'll go elsewhere. I'll go and drive an Indy car. I'll learn how to ride a motorbike like my dad.
Yeah, your dad was pretty handy on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
Probably his dad, he didn't want him to ride on 2 wheels. His dad got pretty beat up at the end of his career.
True. But, so, yeah, that's not bad. I don't think the driver pairing is that bad either after testing,
No, Gasly's great. Gasly's always been a good driver. Jack's an unproven quantity, but hopefully the Colapinto thing doesn't go to his head and he can stay cool enough to... I think these guys will be top 10, bottom half of the top 10, come Melbourne. I think the car's probably mid-pack, maybe 5th or 6th on pace.
Yeah, well, from the testing results, and we'll go into the testing results a little bit more a bit later, but from the testing results, they're clearly... Them and Williams are like the clear head of the mid-pack.
That's good.
Fighting for 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
So...
They'll be gunning for, some points in Melbourne.
One thing, though, this is the last year they're running a Renault power unit, because next year they're becoming a Mercedes customer. Alpine is running Mercedes customer engines.
Yeah, that's so weird.
But the IP and the design for their power unit, because they built the power unit for next year, and then Flavio went, no, it's a shitbox, we're just going to get Mercedes power units. So they sold it all to General Motors for when Cadillac, who are joining next year,
You have officially been announced as the 11th team.
they are fucking in like the Flynn.
They've been signed.
They're in there like swimwear. But next year, they're running Ferrari engines while GM builds the power unit. They bought the designs and everything off Renault.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't it be funny if GM
Comes in
with their design power unit
and just flogs
and
them.
fucking flogs them?
That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious. Because apparently the Renault was actually up on power.
Yeah.
The one they designed
Yeah.
was actually a decent engine.
Yeah. They could have been a force, but, you know, Flavio's
Flavio's sticking his fingers in all the pies.
Yep. Right, so we're going to move on. We're going to go to Aston Martin.
It's back. It's green.
Now, the livery is nice. There's two things to mention about this Aston Martin, okay? So, Aston Martin has had two technical guys sign up for the team, being Adrian Newey and former Ferrari technical director Enrico Cardile. Now, Newey didn't start working for the team until a week after testing. I think he actually started a week ago, right? And he is not working on this year's car. He's working on next year's car, when they have Honda power units and all that bizzo. Enrico Cardile was supposed to be on gardening leave. He broke gardening leave and started working on the Aston Martin.
For this year.
Ferrari found out, and now he's got an additional 4 months slapped on his gardening leave. He can't join Aston Martin and work on anything until July.
Oh, wow.
They took him to court and said he broke gardening leave.
Yep.
This is bullshit. And the court went, yeah, you have been working for them. Nah, another 4 months, mate.
Fuck.
So
That'll hamstring them.
their car is so far on the back foot now, it is not funny.
Oh, yeah, their testing pace was non-existent.
Yep. It was nowhere.
Yeah.
Where is it? Fucking nowhere.
Well, that's good. Because now Lance Stroll can crash it into the wall with no repercussions.
Yeah, but that also means that Fernando Alonso is going to be bitching and moaning.
Good.
And then the race broke a story. I can't believe I'm quoting the race, but the race broke a story today that Honda is struggling to build next year's power unit for them.
Really?
That it's going to be down on power. It's going to be 2015 McLaren all over again.
Yeah, because they've got it's got to be what, 50% engine power now?
Yeah.
50% engine power, 50% electric.
But they can't use the designs of the engine they've been using for the last years with Red Bull because they sold the IP to Red Bull for Red Bull powertrains.
We forgot how to build it. Red Bull has our plans.
They stole the plans for the Death Star.
They did. They stole the plans for the Death Star. Jesus.
This is the most ridiculous shit ever.
Oh, man. What a shit show.
And
I
then
mean, when it all comes together, it's going to be good for them. But this year...
and the new wind tunnel that they've built isn't online yet.
So both their technical aero guys aren't here. The car's a shitbox and the wind tunnel's not ready.
And then you've got an over-the-hill driver in Alonso and
it never was in Lance Stroll.
the window licker.
Yeah.
I've got to get used to calling him the window licker again. He's with window licking his back. The window licker. And then they've got Felipe Drugovich sitting on the sidelines.
He's probably got more talent than both of them at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently Alonso is contracted until the end of next year.
Alonso's going to be contracted until he's a fucking corpse. And even then, he'll still be faster than Lance.
And he's going to get that engine next year.
Yeah, well,
You know what it's going to be?
it's going to be shitbox.
It's going to be GP2 engine all over again.
It's going to be a GP2 engine, but like the aerodynamics is going to be brilliant. It's going to be awesome in the corners, coming 15th with no power.
Oh, yeah, Aston Martin, they're not doing well.
Good. Kind of glad.
So, but the livery, I don't mind the livery.
Yeah, they haven't strayed from the norm. It's,
Here's what's got me royally buggered. Okay, this is
there's less yellow on it than there was last year.
Yeah, I think it needs more yellow.
Yeah.
But this is where it confuses me, okay? Because their title sponsor is Aramco.
Yeah.
Now, Aramco makes fuel and oil and all that stuff for
Yep.
cars, right? So why is Valvoline a sponsor?
Yeah. No, I think Valvoline do their oil and their hydraulics and stuff, and Aramco do their fuel.
Right.
Yeah, they run with two different companies for it.
Well, that's a bit shit, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd think you just stick with one.
I
But no,
suppose
apparently-
Valvoline doesn't make petrol.
No, they just make oil and shit, and that's what they use. And then Aramco make their fuel.
Because, oils ain't oils.
You can tell who's using Valvoline.
You know what I mean.
It's that one over there in the wall with that Canadian prick. That one's using Valvoline.
But, yeah, look, it's an Aston Martin. Get used to seeing it in one piece.
It might be slow enough that Lance Stroll can control it.
Might be able to drive it in the wet.
Yeah, maybe.
Beach it in Brazil.
No, he'll still beach it in Brazil. He'll still do some ridiculously dumb driving. Don't worry about that. Fernando Alonso better watch out. He'll swerve into him at moment's notice. I didn't see him. Did you turn your head and look in the mirror?
What's
No.
a mirror?
No.
Plow up the arse of someone behind a safety car.
The concertina effect.
It's concertina, not Constantina.
The Constantina effect. Fuck.
All right, we're going to move on now to the next car, which is the Ferrari.
It's a Ferrari. It's very red.
It's very red.
Well, actually, it's like fucking very deep red.
Now, I don't like the white on the
No.
on the engine cover.
No, I don't. I don't like. There's too much white.
But here's two things I've got to ask about this livery, right? I mean, it's a Ferrari, it's red. We know that. Done. And on track, it's a deeper red.
Oh yeah, it's like almost a burgundy.
Yeah, like the 2020 livery.
Yeah.
Hopefully the car's not a shitbox like the 2020 car.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be.
But here's two questions I've got to know, right? If HP is a title sponsor, why have they got IBM as a sponsor as well? And two, I didn't know IBM was still existing.
I didn't know IBM was still a thing.
Yeah.
They must be somewhere. They've got enough money to be sponsor Ferrari. Alongside HP, who are... Yeah, it's a lot of white and blue on a Ferrari. Surely HP could have, churned out, a black livery or something, or I don't know.
Surely to God, HP could have gone, look, our logo is blue and white. Maybe because we're sponsoring Ferrari, why don't we go blue and red, or maybe red and white? Get in with the team spirit, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, it just looks like you've just got printer paper all across the engine cover. One of your HPs is just printed out a bunch of blank pages and that's it.
That sounds like a HP printer, by the way.
That is a HP printer.
That's why I've got a Canon printer now.
Yeah, I don't know why HP and IBM are, together.
Yeah, I just didn't know that IBM was still around.
I haven't seen that logo in ages. They must still be running operating systems somewhere.
Or, they must make the cases for HP or something.
Maybe they're in cahoots, I don't know. But how good's that 44 looking? He's your boy now.
Yeah, I know.
Your boy Lewis.
I know, I've got to acknowledge. Actually, that brings me to my point. Okay, so... Oh, God, I just changed the photo. There's the IBM
my
logo
God.
on the back of the wing.
That looks terrible.
You better start fucking winning. You better win.
No. I feel sorry for the Mercedes that has to stare at that. While you guys are staring at Dark Trace.
But, so, driver pairing is Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Boy, oh boy, did everyone make a lot of big hoo-ha about Lewis Hamilton over the winter, our summer.
Well, yeah, of course.
I think I actually got to the point where I put a comment on the Ferrari. No, it was the race YouTube page. Where every second day was another story about Lewis Hamilton finally went to the Ferrari factory and Lewis Hamilton did this. And I put the comment down going, hey, you guys remember there's another driver there named Charles Leclerc?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, if Charles Leclerc wanted a quiet off-season, he got it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He really, just point in Lewis's general direction.
Yeah, like it's the WrestleMania sign.
And keep walking.
Just point at the WrestleMania sign.
Walk towards the media, realise you don't want to answer any fucking questions, and point to Lewis. You'll be like, he's over there. Leave me alone, I know how to drive the car.
He's just got a Kimi Räikkönen in it.
Yeah.
Just Kimi Räikkönen in it.
Don't say anything.
Yeah. Just, why are you over there? I had to take a shit.
I mean, it's not the best Ferrari livery I've ever seen, but I guess it's not the worst either.
No. But the race during testing, and this is where you're going to hear the one thing you never thought you were going to hear, right? The race, especially during day one, was sitting there saying, well, Lewis went out on the track and his first few laps he was hitting the apex properly and he was looking really good. And then he had a break and he came back out and he was missing the apex and he was da-da-da and he didn't look very good. I'm about to defend Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Pretty sure they would have done setup changes and fuel changes and everything.
No. What it was, because I was actually watching testing, not like the race who were sitting there playing with themselves. When he went out and was doing really good laps, it was fine. Everything was perfect. He was just doing like regular runs. Like he wasn't trying to set the world on fire or anything. When he came out after a break, the tailwind had changed direction. And he was on the blower saying, guys, the tailwind is savage. It's blowing me all over the track. Like, it's bad. And that's when he was missing the apexes and everything. Something the race failed to report. They kindly omitted that bit.
Yeah.
So they're sitting there bagging him out, saying, oh, he doesn't look very good in the Ferrari. All because of a bloody change in wind direction.
Yeah. He's getting blown off the apex. Those cars aren't very heavy.
Yeah.
And they're moving rather quickly.
And other cars were getting blown off as well, and they didn't acknowledge them either.
No, of course not. It's all about Lewis, man.
You know, it was
all about Lewis.
It was almost like they were trying to say, well, Lewis should have stayed at Mercedes because he wouldn't have had all these issues, blah, 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 blah. He was fine at testing.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Yep.
They've even figured out how to say hammer time in Italian.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
He spoke to him after his first, there's a light flickering. Silly light.
Well, they want to join us for the podcast, Mr. Ghost.
But he did the laps in the 2023 car around Fiorina. And he got out and he was just like, oh man, I got to drive a Ferrari around this track, you know, like Schumacher, you know, I'm super happy about this. And the engineer was like, well, how are we going to tell you to say it's hammer time? And he's like, oh, well, we'll have to figure out how to say hammer time in Italian so you can tell me over the radio it's time for hammer time, you know? And the engineer's like, we can work on that, mate. That's no problem.
Hell yeah.
So it's like,
And he's readjusted the steering wheel, his Mercedes steering wheel.
Yeah.
So everything that was, all these buttons and all these settings that were on the Mercedes wheel.
To be honest,
Done it.
because Ferrari put up a video and it went for like 20 minutes of Lewis's first day at the factory. And he went around and met every single person at the factory.
That's good.
This, like a couple of years ago, I was listening to one of our older episodes. I think it was the end of season episode where I just went off on him. For me, it was kind of like, remember we used to really hate Sebastian Vettel when he was at Red Bull. Then he went to Ferrari and he lightened up and he sort of came out of his shell. This looks like a Lewis Hamilton that's happy again.
Yeah.
Like a Lewis Hamilton when he was at McLaren.
Yeah, when he was a rookie.
Yeah. Like that Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
And it's I've kind of gone, he ain't my boy and he ain't breaking Schumacher's record. But I hope he does all right.
Yeah. We'll see how he goes. We will see how he goes. The jury's out on him, but the car looks all right. They're about equal pace with Mercedes, apparently.
And then there's their reserve driver. They got Zhou Guan Yu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good pickup.
Yeah.
You know, he's solid.
It is a solid pair of hands, for, breaking glass in case of emergency. He's all right.
Yeah. And I mean, the car looks solid on track. It wasn't McLaren level of speed, but it's up there.
Yeah.
It's a solid thing. And like with Lewis, they did long runs with him to, make sure everything. He got plenty of time to feel out the car. So yeah. But the livery looks like a Ferrari.
Oh, it's unmistakably a Ferrari despite all the white.
Yeah. Does sort of more look like a modern day Williams from '98. But no, that is. Oh, it certainly doesn't look like a Life.
No. It's certainly not going to drive like a Life either. The old P190.
All right. Moving on to the Haas.
I like this livery.
Now, here's the thing. Don't get it too attached to how it looks all silvery. Because when it's on track, it is black and white.
Yeah, right.
There is no silver on that thing. It is just black and white.
Okay.
With bits of red.
They've inverted the sidepod colours, which actually makes the Haas logo somehow easier to read.
Yeah.
Instead of,
I do like the livery, though.
Oh, it's a clean livery.
I think they've incorporated a little bit of Toyota Gazoo racing colours into there.
That is all Toyota Gazoo racing colours.
Yes.
That almost looks like their rally car.
Look, if they're going to race Toyota colours, it really should not be red and white like their F1 team. It should be the red, green, and white like their old rally cars. Like Tom Supra.
Yeah.
I always wondered on playing Gran Turismo, like Tom Supra. I was always like, who the fuck is Tom?
Who's Tom?
Who the fuck is Tom? Fuck Tom.
No, that's basically what their Toyota Gazoo rally car looks like. Black, white, and red.
Yeah, well...
It's a clean logo. I mean, and they're going to start incorporating Toyota parts for the engine, which is good. Wish they just build the engine for them.
The only thing is they're using last year's Ferrari suspension.
Yeah, right. So they haven't upgraded that.
Because I think... Oh, God. This is going to test my memory here. I think last year they were using a pull rod suspension. Because Ferrari this year have swapped to a push rod. They've kept the push rod, the pull rod.
Okay.
So they're the only team running the opposite to everyone else.
Well, McLaren tried that a couple of years ago and it didn't quite work, so...
Yeah, but that was also when you had James Key designing the car.
Yeah, it wasn't the best car.
James Key is not the best designer.
No, negative.
No. But, yeah, the car looks pretty decent. It's nothing special on the track, though. Judging by the testing times. And their driver pairing is a bit 50-50. Because you've got Esteban Ocon. Not entirely sold on him.
Really have never been sold on him.
Yeah. And you got Oliver Behrman.
Well, we'll see how he goes. And, now he's not going to finish 12th in Formula 2.
Well, on the latest season of Drive to Survive, they show when Ollie Behrman went off in the Haas in Brazil, in the wet. And he goes up to Io Komatsu, and he goes, look, I'm really sorry. Io Komatsu sits there and says, yeah, mate, look, to be honest, that's not good enough. Like, what you did out there is not good enough. You got to do better than that. Like, if you're going to be an F1 driver, you can't just, do that. You've got to be able to control it in the wet.
He's not wrong.
Like, he came across as rather savage towards him.
Yeah.
Like, Behrman looked like he was about to break down from the spray he was copping, And he's just... And then at the end of it, he's like, but, it might not have been great, but you still did all right. And he walked off, and it's just like, oh, God, how do you take that? But, yeah, look, the driver pairing, not the greatest driver pairing.
Is it better than Magnussen and Hulkenberg? Maybe not. Have they done as the safe pair of hands of Hulkenberg and Magnussen now to
Ocon and Hulkenberg and Bortoletto.
Yeah, they've gone to Sauber, but
yeah.
last year.
Oh, look, I don't think they're going to rate as highly as Hulkenberg and Magnussen.
I mean, Hulkenberg was my key driver of the year. You know, because he was pulling some good results from that arse.
Yeah.
I don't think Ocon's maybe as talented, maybe, as Hulkenberg.
Yeah, I don't think Ocon's got the talent, and again, going off Drive to Survive, Ocon just comes across as snobby and arrogant.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to sink the team down, but who knows?
We shall see.
The next team is McLaren.
It's very orange-black. You won't be missing it on track. It looks like a power tool.
It looks like they got rid of the blue.
They did get rid of the blue. Now it's completely just orange and black. A little bit disappointed. I keep waiting for them to throw chrome on there that isn't just a special livery.
Or to go back to white and red.
Well, yeah, that too. But when it's leading the field, doesn't matter what it looks like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a fast orange bullet, that thing.
It is quick, says the testing times.
Yeah. And they've got an amazing driving pairing in Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, probably the best on the grid, honestly. And Oscar's just going to get Lando's good. Lando was World Championship Challenger last year, and Oscar's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the car's fast.
Well,
it's twitchy, but it's fast.
Will Buxton said on Drive to Survive in this season that he thinks that, honestly, Oscar Piastri is the better out of the two drivers, but Lando Norris has got more experience. I agree with that to a degree. I think the biggest problem that McLaren had last year was, and they highlighted in Drive to Survive, they didn't sit down with the drivers and say, right, Lando's number one, you're number two. They didn't do it soon enough.
Yeah, they had to wait until,
after Monza.
Lando was established as challenging for the championship. But as soon as Lando couldn't mathematically win the championship, he handed that win to Oscar in that sprint race, and then they let Oscar do his thing.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I think they've got to establish it. Let them race in the first race.
Yeah, let them see how the first 2-3 races go.
And whoever's leading the championship out of those two, after, say, 3 races, they're the number one. Other guys, the support.
Yeah.
Got to call it.
Yeah. Well, the problem with Oscar is he's just not as consistent as Lando. Lando's fast. Oscar just needs to find more consistency. Oscar's probably the calmer of the two, and the more measured and the more calculated of the two. Lando's definitely probably the faster. I can see Lando, being the man in qualifying, but if Oscar can find more consistency in the race, he'll be right up there challenging for the title too.
But they're amazing driving pairing, fastest car at the moment.
I like that they've integrated the MasterCard logo into the front wing.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a very orange and black car with an orange and red logo, so it fits very well.
Yeah, even got the McLaren logo on the front wing.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a slick looking car.
I just think they need to replace the black with chrome instead of just having the word chrome.
I would love to have a. I mean, they've done it, the papaya and chrome livery, usually for Silverstone, but yeah, I mean, I wish they'd run it a little bit more. But as I said, when that thing's leading the race in Melbourne, doesn't matter what it looks like. Piastri's a chance to win his home Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Depending on how he goes.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Right, moving along to the Mercedes. And, well, it looks like a Mercedes.
But
It's got a lot more black on it than silver this year.
did you notice the red
Yes.
Ineos is not on the airbox anymore?
Yeah, Ineos is still a sponsor, but apparently the guy who's in charge at Ineos and Toto Wolff had a falling out.
Yeah, I don't think Ineos will be a sponsor for long.
No. Well, he's not just a sponsor. He's 1/3 owner of the team.
Oh, shit.
So they're going to have to buy him out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I did. That's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, oh, the red Ineos airbox is gone.
Look, it's okay. Like, it's more black and aqua than silver, which, yeah.
They've gone, yeah, definitely a darker theme.
Yeah, it must be because we've got rid of Lewis Hamilton. We need more black paint.
Apparently.
to make up for lacking Lewis Hamilton.
The lack of Lewis, so it needs to be dark
that
stuff.
was a bit racist, wasn't it?
A little bit.
It came from a kind place. The car itself during testing didn't look anything special. Like it's upper echelon, but it's not. It's where it is last year. You know.
Yeah, it's still that P3,
Yeah.
P4 sort of car.
They reckon that it's going to be fighting with the Ferrari for P2, P3. But I don't know. I think the thing that might let the car down this year is the driver pairing.
How did Kimi Antonelli go during testing?
God, now you got to make me go and find the results. Look, Antonelli, he was okay. Like he was in the top 10. But he didn't really set the world on fire for me.
Yeah, right. I mean, he didn't really set the world on fire in testing either. So, I mean, in Formula 2 last year either.
Yeah. Like,
So-
they're talking like he's the Great White Hope, and it's just like, I think...
He had talent, like, but you promoted him so quick.
Yeah.
He's not exactly a Max Verstappen yet, is he?
No.
Like Max Verstappen, you could see when he came in, yeah, kid's got talent, but yeah, just that was their big gamble.
I would go as far as saying I think Oliver Bamman is the better driver out of the pair.
Yeah.
And that's a big call. That is a big call.
I mean, look, we haven't seen him on track yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen him.
And
in
then
anger.
George Russell, I mean, he's obviously going to be the number one driver, but he's
George-
never really been anything special either.
Yeah, George Russell is another one of the Great White Hope, and he's been eclipsed by Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris his career.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So
Absolutely. You know, he's all right on his day.
I think we can label Mercedes as the team and the drivers commonly known as the also-rans.
Yeah, well, the car probably reflects that too. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes come, what is it, this weekend's Melbourne, isn't it?
Yes.
Of course. I'm out at work, so I get to miss testing and the first race.
Right, so that's Mercedes. Now we got the Racing Bull. You
I
know,
like the livery.
on track, that thing is hideous.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It looks good standing still.
But the thing is, seeing it, every time I saw it, I was just like, oh, yeah, Williams is running the old Cannon livery again.
Yeah.
Then I went, hang on, no, they're not.
What that is, that's like that Red Bull tribute livery from Japan a few years ago that they never got to run in Japan.
You know what they should do for their livery, eh? You know how a few years ago Red Bull was running like that really awesome black and white camo livery?
Yeah, their testing livery.
Yeah. Just slap it on that. But make it white and blue.
I noticed they've gone the yellow nose again.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least you won't mistake it for the Red Bull because it's white instead of blue.
Yeah. Oh, it's very vanilla.
It's white and it's vanilla.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I suppose you could say the same thing about their driver pairing.
Yeah.
Of Yuki Tsunoda and Isaac Hadjar. It's just vanilla.
Yeah.
They're not setting the world on fire.
Yuki has moments, but he only has moments, and Isaac Hadjar, you know.
I mean, in testing, they were 10 and 11 on the first day. 10
and 12.
10 and 12. And bloody...
7 and 15.
Yeah. Like, it's nothing to...
It's definitely not the RB23, the RB, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, even in Drive to Survive, when they talk about replacing Checo, Sergio does not get a look in. Yuki does not get a look in.
Yeah.
It was either Danny Rick or Liam Lawson.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
They don't even mention Yuki there. I think they briefly say, look, we're worried about his temperament and that if things don't go right, he just has a nuclear spit over the phone, over the radio.
Yeah, but Max has a nuclear temperament when it doesn't go right either.
Yeah, so I think Yuki's fucked. I think Yuki's got to find somewhere else to go at the end of this season.
I don't know how many doors are going to be open. There might be a few. See how many of these rookies fall flat.
Yeah, well, I think Isaac Hadjar is nothing special again.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, you never know.
Meh. He's a meh.
He was meh in Formula 2, so we'll see what happens.
Anyway, he's been meh his entire career.
The best thing he ever did was that not crash in the tunnel at Monaco.
Yeah.
When that one car was going slowly and he somehow missed them.
Yeah.
That's probably the best highlight I've ever seen of him. So.
Yeah. All right.
Well, a mad driver pairing for a mad looking car.
Right, so we're moving on to the Red Bull, which has also got a yellow nose.
Yeah, but it's definitely a Rebel.
And this year, they're running gloss paint.
They have bought the gloss back.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Look, Liam...
I mean, it looks exactly the same as last year's. But it looks good.
Yeah, they're saying, oh, it's a different car. Where?
It's different, as in it's slower.
Is it different like how the bass line from Under Pressure by Queen is ever so slightly different because it's got one extra note in the Ice Ice Baby version by Vanilla Ice?
It's different.
Is that how it's different?
That's how it's different.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
But it doesn't look like it's very good.
Ew.
Like Max,
The Adrian Newey era is over.
and you know the thing is, like the race and Pierre Wash at Red Bull, they're like, oh, it's a competitive car, but it looks tricky and it's twitchy and it's this and it's that. Why can no one admit? Because Adrian Newey didn't design it, that the magic in this car is just sucked out its asshole has been flushed down the toilet.
Well, apparently it's not as pointy as it has been in the past. Like it's a little less tailored to Max Verstappen, but yeah, it didn't top testing at all, and apparently it doesn't look that flash on track.
Yeah, but they've got one of the better driver pairings though, Max Verstappen and Liam Lawson.
Well,
Thing is though, by having two alpha dogs driving, that could go real center prost real quick.
well, Liam Lawson's got to prove that he's the alpha dog because he's up against the 4-time world champion.
Yeah.
He can talk like he's the alpha dog, but he's got to drive like it too.
Well, I mean...
And Max ain't going to give him shit.
Well, you remember at Mexico last year when he flipped off Sergio Perez as he overtook him?
Yeah.
Drive to Survive shows Christian Horner dragging Liam Lawson into the office and giving him a spray over it, saying, you're driving for the B team, you're supposed to let the A team pass. Then you hit his car, then you overtook him and you flipped him the bird. That ain't good. It's not good enough. Knock off the attitude. Except, if you watch the footage, Sergio Perez pushes him off the track first. Then he pushes Perez off, and Perez got a little bit too close and lost a little bit of bodywork. Then he pitted, came out, overtook him, and that's when he flipped in the bird.
Well,
That'll probably get him some points taken off him by the FIA.
maybe. Well, I didn't swear. He just, hand gestures and swearing are
He
different.
swore with his fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just told him.
Jeez,
Just told him he was driving for the number 1 team. It's like, hey, you're in the number 1 team.
That's my seat.
That's my seat. Keep my seat warm for next year, please.
Oh, man. If they do another season of Drive to Survive, it's going to be so fucking tame with these new no swearing rules.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God.
That's okay. Have you heard who actually might be going against Mohammed bin Sulayem as president of the FIA?
Who?
And apparently it's up for election either this year or next year. Susie fucking Wolf.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. She'd be good.
Yeah.
She'd be very good, actually.
And you know what? I'm not going to be worried about her bias towards Toto and Mercedes. I think she's actually smart enough to go, I've got to do what's best for the sport, not what's best for my husband's team.
She competed against Toto.
Yeah.
She's, actively competed against Toto. She's not going to be biased towards him.
I wouldn't mind competing with her
Oh, yeah, with or against? No, yeah.
in the bedroom.
But, I mean, can't say that. She's the head of the FIA now. Well,
No,
going
she's
to be.
not. She wants to be.
Yeah, Ben Solomon needs to go. He's going to
Yeah.
ruin this sport like Eccleston.
The only good thing he's done was by allowing Cadillac in F1.
Yeah. No,
That's it.
after fucking around Andretti.
No, that was... He allowed them in. It was Stefano Domenicali and Liberty Media that said no. Because Michael Andretti got a bit mouthy and a bit lippy. And
That's not like Michael Andretti.
No,
To get a
not
bit
at all.
mouthy and a bit lippy.
No, not at all.
That's not his go.
It's not his speed at all. But the Red Bull. Looks like a Red Bull.
Looks like a Red Bull, but it ain't going to be at the front like a Red Bull.
No, it ain't going to be driving like a Red
It's
Bull.
going to be like 2020 Red Bull when you're battling for 4th and 5th.
Oh, I think, yeah.
I think, well, McLaren's going to be ahead of it. Definitely.
Yeah, oh, look,
Ferrari's probably ahead of it. Mercedes is probably on par with it.
yeah.
They'll be scrapping for the last step of the podium, I think.
All right. So then we get to the Sauber. It still
It's
looks
like they've
kind of nice.
started painting it green and then stopped.
It's got Floviz paint on it. That's it.
Last
They gave
year-
him the paint.
Last year it looked like Floviz paint. I'm like, that car's got low Floviz.
Well, during testing, they had to put blue Floviz paint on it so they could see what was going on. Because they can't put the green one on there.
Yeah. I mean, green and black looks nice, but it literally just looks like they're running out of spray paint halfway through. It's just like, we started painting it green and then we stopped. Maybe they ran out of money.
It's like they were painting Warhammer 40k figurines and ran out of paint halfway.
Yeah.
We're painting the orcs. Oh, fuck, I've run out of paint.
I'm sure it looked good in 19th and 20th.
Yeah, the car is a complete shit box, though.
Yep.
And it's sad because they've got a really good driver pairing in Hulkenberg and Bortoletto.
Yeah, Big Balls Bortoletto has finally made it to the big leagues and he's going to be driving a shit box.
He's driving a car that's got no nuts.
You might as well just bought his...
Big balls Bortoletto and a car that's been neutered.
Yeah, well, you might as well just bought his F2 car along. Might be doing equal pace, maybe. Fuck.
Like the dangerous music video.
Yeah. Just take Brad Pitt's fucking kit car. The F2 car that looks like an F1 car.
I'd like to know how they're going to explain the rules in the movie about Brad Pitt and his teammate driving a car that's got a fucking turbo on the side compared to everyone else who's got an F1 car.
Yeah, look, we'll figure that part out later.
I ordered something from America too, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
For you? For me?
For me.
For you?
But it'll be for your amusement too.
Oh, good. Excellent.
It's on its way from America land.
Keen to see it.
No, you're not.
Oh. Okay.
When you see it, you'll be like, fuck!
Excellent.
No, it won't be.
Not for me?
No.
Okay.
It won't be for either of us.
Oh, no.
Because I couldn't dig my DVD copy out.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. Oh.
It cost me $20.
Well, you know, Sylvester Stallone could probably use the money. Oh,
I
God.
had to. I want to watch the movie.
We'll watch it together and we'll do a review.
We'll commit Sudoku afterwards.
Oh, God. That
Right.
movie's probably going to be as bad as this car's going to be around the track.
They might as well drive it through the city with no helmets on.
You might as well to be just as fucking fast. Probably not fast enough to suck manhole covers up, though.
It'll suck something else.
It just sucks. Forget the manhole covers, it just straight sucks. This is just like, this whole thing's just the holding pattern for this Audi takeover, right?
Well, not according to Benotto.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, previous management, a.k.a. Androida Seidel, were too focused on when Audi was coming in that they sacrificed the 2024 and 2025 cars. He's like, nope, got to make 2025 car better so that we've got a platform to build on for 2026. Despite the fact, Matthias, it's a different fucking design.
It's a completely different car.
It's a
What the fuck?
different fucking car. You fucking peanut.
A platform to build on what?
You fucking retard.
This is the end of the line. Get off the train.
Like, fuck me. No wonder we got rid of him.
If you wanted to build on something, you should have done it last year. You didn't do fucking anything.
All you've done is build on a pile of dog shit.
With an equal pile of dog shit.
Just stack
I
more
actually
shit.
think it's worse. I'm pretty sure there was a graphic, and the only team that was worse this year than last year was the Sauber. It was
How?
like 4/10 of a second slower.
How do you make it worse?
You've,
Mathematically, you cannot make it worse.
well, they've done it.
They've cracked the code.
The anti Adrian Newey.
My God. They might as well sack James Key and get AI to design the fucking car.
Get them to run XL. Just bring back Eric Boulier. He's looking for a job. He can't be much worse.
Get Michael Andretti. He's not doing much.
Get those guys that designed their life P190.
The Temu Ferrari.
Timu Ferrari.
Well, they
no.
got the Temu Ferrari boss.
They do have the Timu Ferrari boss. And the ex-McLaren boss who...
Just get Gunther Steiner to be in your team as well, and you're royally fucked.
I actually thought I'd miss Andreas Seidel more than I did, but I don't. I really don't. Ever since he's gone, McLaren's, I feel like Seidel was the anchor, and Stella was the one that was going to take us to the promised land. There you go. You got two people that were dragging their respective teams, and as soon as they left,
Yep.
we're fighting for the Constructors'
Yeah,
Championships.
but you took
And
one
they've-
of the best up-and-coming teams and just tied them to the Titanic.
Yeah. You are the iceberg.
Just cue up My Heart Will Go On right now.
Yeah.
Stand and salute and wish it well in its future endeavours. Because
Play that while Gabriel Bortoletto's engine just goes up in flames in Melbourne. Just boom. Gone. You're the
Oh,
only
well.
thing that's going to make, the RB look good.
Right? And then we get to the final team. Holy shit, did they take a lot of fun. Here we go, it's the Williams.
How many angles could you polish a turd? 20.
Did they have fucking...
Zooming in on the camera, zooming in on the turd doesn't make it any less of a turd.
The soundbar, honestly, was Austin Powers taking the photos.
Kevin Dunn.
Sitting there taking the photos going, do I make you horny, baby?
Yeah.
Do I make you horny? Do I make you randy? Yeah.
No, it doesn't make me randy. It looked slow. It looked like you ran out of paint. And now it just looks slow.
All right, so we get to the Williams.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't mind
I
it.
really like the paint job. They kept the Duracell airbox battery.
Yep, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Now
not...
they're using like 3 different shades of blue this year instead of 1.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's all right. And, wow, what an upturn in results at testing.
Yeah, Carlos. Yeah, they were like fifth fastest.
Like, James Vowles is not fucking about with turning around this team.
No.
Between that, Carlos Sainz and Albon, they are switched on. Carlos Sainz is in his prime, and he has said in interviews, he's like, I want Williams back up the front.
We all want Williams back up the front.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. Fuck Red Bull. Fuck Mercedes. Let's have the old guard back up the front. So Brody will be extremely happy about that.
Yes, he will.
And I think Albon and Sainz is one of the strongest driver pairings on the grid.
Albon's got someone to push him and someone to follow now.
Yeah.
Be good for Albon.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be the out-and-out number one, because Carlos is at a level that, Carlos is going to be the number 1 driver.
Yeah.
But now Alex can push to that level.
Now we're actually going to see how good Albon really is.
Yeah.
Because the last few years it's been, King Latifi, RIP King,
Sargent.
Logan Sargent, and Colapinto.
Colapinto, who started well but faded.
Yeah.
Now you got Carlos Sainz, who's, the best
Race
teammate.
winner.
Yeah.
The only guy in 2023 besides a Red Bull driver to win in 2023.
Yep.
So you've got someone there who can deliver the goods.
Absolutely. You got someone you can actually measure yourself against.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you're going to see whether Albon is that level or not.
I think he will be.
I think he will.
I think it's a really good chance for him to prove that he is.
I think he's got the eye of a tiger.
Oh, yeah. He'll go after
He'll
Carlos.
rise up to the challenge.
He will.
Right.
I really like the wheel covers in the Williams, too. That's the best wheel covers I've seen on the cars so far.
Yeah.
Just quietly.
Yeah. It's quite nice.
I don't like McLaren's, Google Chrome logo fucking ones, and everyone else is just running standard wheel cover logos.
I mean, they ran
the
out of paint for the Sauber
The
ones.
Sauber's
too.
got green front ones and black rear ones. And
Right, so we've got the results from testing from day 1, day 2, and day 3. Now, the only thing is it doesn't really highlight who ran in the morning and who ran in the afternoon, which makes it a little bit tricky. But there's a couple of anomalies in here, like Lewis Hamilton running in 13th. We'll go from the bottom up. So 20th, Oliver Behrman, he was 5 seconds off the pace. Ocon was 3 seconds off the pace. Hulkenberg was 1 second, 1.5 seconds. So was Piastri. Lance Stroll was 1.5. Fernando was 1.5. Jack Doohan in 14th, he was 1.4. Lewis Hamilton was 1.4. Bortoletto in 12th was 1.2. Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Bull was 1.2. Yuki Tsunoda in 10th was 1.18. Albon 1.1 in the Williams. Lawson 1.1. Kimi Antonelli less than a second off the pace. Pierre Gasly less than a second off the pace. Carlos Sainz in 5th, just half a second off the pace.
yep.
Charles Leclerc 0.4, Max Verstappen 0.2, George Russell 0.1, and Lando Norris set the fastest time
Yep.
with a 1 minute 30.43.
Correct.
Day 2, fastest time was Carlos Sainz in the Williams with a 129.348. But I think track conditions were different because of they had rain.
Yes, it did rain on day 2.
You would have been proud of that. You would have been able to run your intermediates on the track.
Never rained in Bahrain, ever. I didn't need to do a lap in the full wets. 126 laps. He just drove the whole day on his own.
Yep. But, I mean, Oliver Behrman and Ocon were at 17th and 18th. They only had 18 cars running that day. So it was the 2 Haas's, the 2 Saubers. There's the 2 McLarens. But they were doing sort of, race simulations rather
That's
than...
it, like practice sessions, and you can sort of indicate on a practice session on the weekend maybe the pace, but you don't know the pace until qualifying test sessions are even worse than that. Because, I mean, they ran, Oscar ran 44 laps, Lando ran 77 laps. But they could have been running long fuel runs, everything.
Yeah.
Aero testing, everything,
The scary thing is, Carlos Sainz was running the super soft, the soft tyre.
Yeah.
Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Hamilton ran in the morning every day. And Charles Leclerc ran at night every day. Carlos set that at night. Lewis and Charles were running the medium tyre.
Yeah, right.
So, it's not entirely accurate.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many variables.
But it does show that Williams has got something.
Oh, yeah, it'll be pushing for Q3, easily. They'll be pushing for points on race day.
Oh, yeah.
I think the days of them finishing 16th and 17th are going to be behind them rather quickly.
And then day 3, George Russell set the fastest time. That was at night. Yeah, Max Verstappen wasn't far off. Alex Albon, 3rd. And, Charles Leclerc is 9th. Lewis Hamilton was 6th. Oscar Piastri was 4th. Lando Norris was 11th. But, I mean, Ocon 8th in the Haas.
Yeah.
But I think the Ferraris were doing race simulation. I'd say that Lando Norris was doing race simulation as well. So that's the thing about testing is that you never can tell who's sandbagging, but you can tell when teams have got something very wrong, particularly when Max Verstappen's running Flovia's paint on the final fucking day.
And he spun it too.
In fact, 2 hours before the end of the final session, he's running Flovia's paint, and they changed the floor 3 times.
They're still trying to figure out the arrow on that thing.
Yeah. So I think that I think that Red Bull really have dropped down the batting order this year. Right. Now we get to some fun stuff.
All right.
Now I've got to bring up that. Right. The team rankings. So start at number 10. Who you think's going to come last in the Constructors?
This may come as a shock, but I might go with Kick Sauber.
Well, Longhorn, he sent through his thing, and he also has Sauber. And just because I don't want to buck the trend, I'm going with Sauber as well.
Will they score more than 1 point this year?
Yeah. See you in Suzuki, boys.
Yeah.
All right, who have you got going 9th?
Who have I got going 9th? Probably the RB. Yeah. I think the RB, yeah.
I've gone, well, Brody has gone with the RB as well. I've gone with Haas.
You think they're going to take a step backwards?
Yeah.
Just not sold on that driver landing, eh?
No.
Yeah.
All right. Number 8. So for 8, Longhorn has gone Alpine.
It's a long way down for Alpine, I think.
I've gone the Racing Bulls.
I'm going to go Aston Martin. I think that ship is going to sink pretty good this year.
I think they might panic and actually pull Newey off working next year's car to fix this year's car.
There's no need to fix this year's car because it's a new car next year. The lesson that Sauber should have learnt.
Yeah. All right, number 7. So, number 7, Longhorn is gone, Aston Martin. Who are you going?
I will go Haas.
And I've gone Aston Martin. Number 6. Who are you going?
I'm going to go Alpine.
I should learn how to spell Alpine. It'll help. Brody has gone Haas. Oh, he's not going to like me. I went Williams. 5th, he's got Williams. Who are you going for 5th?
I'm going to go Williams as well. I think they'll just edge. They'll edge Alpine.
I've gone Alpine.
That's going to be the battle, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a flip of a coin between those two.
Yeah, it will be.
4th.
I'm going to go Red Bull. Max is going to have to do it on his own. I mean, I don't know if Lawson's going to be as bad as Sergio, but that car's not good.
Yeah, I think the drivers are fine. I think they just don't have the car underneath them.
Yeah.
But Brody's gone Mercedes.
I think Mercedes has got something there. That battle may actually come down to Kimi Antonelli and Liam Lawson as to who's, slightly the better driver. Because Max is better than George, obviously, but
Yeah.
that could come down to the second driver pairing, scalping, the lower end of the top 10.
Well, I went Red Bull as well.
I think Mercedes might just have more in the tank, development-wise.
So you're going Mercedes for 3?
I'm going Mercedes for 3.
I'm going Mercedes for 3 as well. Brody, to be expected, has gone Red Bull. All right. Who you got going number 2?
I've got the Prancing Horse going number 2, mate, Ferrari.
And we've got Ferrari across the board. I think they haven't got the best driver lineup now, but I think they've got a solid car underneath them with room for improvement. And I still think he's past his prime. I think Lewis Hamilton will motivate the team a lot better.
Yes. Yes, he will.
He'll be that solid foundation. Which means across the board, we have gone McLaren for first.
Mighty Papaya, Constructors Champions 2025.
I think they've got the best car, the best driver lineup, and it's just they're just going to phone it in.
Well, we'll see. They've got to keep the gap. They've got to maintain the rage. You got to keep the upgrades coming. The driver pairing's great. The car's good.
You just got to make sure that your driver pairing don't turn into Senna and Prost.
Correct.
Because if that happens, the door is wide open.
Yeah. Yeah, you've just got to settle your number 1 and your number 2 after about, 6 races.
Yeah.
Give them 6 races, whoever's on top of the championship. Settle it then.
All right, next thing. The driver pairing rankings.
All right.
Now, Longhorn hasn't sent through his responses to these, so I'm not going to be able to read them out. But if he sends them through on the video version, we'll type it out, and I'll probably get to the end and overdub it anyway. Who have you got as your number 10 driver pairing?
My number 10 driver pairing, I'm bringing up the constructors' standings as I speak.
So this is how you feel about the drivers themselves.
Yeah, number 10 is going to be Hülkenberg and Bortoleto.
Oh. My worst driver pairing out of all the 10 driver pairings for me, Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. It's just Stroll will crash it and Alonso will whinge about it.
And the car's a shitbox.
Yep.
Yep.
Number 9.
Number 9. Hadjar and Sonoda.
Racing Ball.
Don't see much in them.
Yeah, I've gone the same.
Yeah.
They're just meh. It's a meh driver pairing. It's vanilla.
It is.
Number 8.
Behrman and Ocon.
Haas. I've gone the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ocon. You can't trust Ocon.
Yeah, no.
You can't trust Ocon.
And Behrman's inexperienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got talent. He's got raw talent. But he's just inexperienced. All right, who you got at 7?
Stroll and Alonso.
I've got Hulkenberg and Bortoletto. Like Hulkenberg's an experienced pair of hands. Bortoletto, we know he's proven commodity in F2. Whether he can make the jump to F1, we'll see how that goes. Number 6.
Who have I not said yet? Gasly and doing.
Alpine.
Yeah.
Same as me. I think Gasly's a solid mechanic. Jack Doohan, if he can prove himself, he'll do all right. If Flavio swings the axe, yeah.
Yep, we'll see.
All right, number 5.
Number 5. Number 5. It's getting tough now. I'm going to go George Russell and Kimi Antonelli.
That's the driver pairing at Mercedes. Hey, guess what? I went Mercedes too.
There you go.
George Russell hasn't lived up to the hype.
And neither has Antonelli, really.
Antonelli, he's got so much hype around him, I don't think he can live up to it. Who's your number 4?
That's going to be Verstappen and Lawson.
Oh!
Verstappen will do it all on his own. Lawson, that kid's under a lot of pressure.
I went with the Williams pair, Sainz and Albon.
Right.
Sainz will do pretty well. You just got to wait and see how Albon's going to go with a decent driver beside him.
Yeah.
He'll either sink or swim. Number 3.
Albon and Sainz. Solid driver pairing.
I went with Ferrari. Ferrari dropped down the order one. Mainly because I think it's a solid driver pairing, but you got to also remember Hamilton is on the back end of his career.
Correct. But they both know how to win races. And the car's pretty decent.
Yeah, but Charles Leclerc is going to win the championship. It's not going to be Lewis. All right, number 2.
That's Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Race winners and a 7-time world champion. Even though he's on the back end of his career, he can still win races.
Yeah.
Showed it last year. He won Silverstone.
Yeah. And he won Spa by technicality.
And he was second in Vegas.
I think so.
Yeah.
I went with Red Bull. I like that there's 2 sort of alphas at that team.
Liam Lawson's just the unproven to me.
Yeah.
Prove it. Like, talk it, sweet. Prove it, though.
My thinking is, much like...
Is he going to try too hard to prove it and fucking crash?
I think it's got just as much of a capability of turning into Prost versus Senna as the McLaren duo.
Yeah?
That's the thing that can happen. What happens if Liam Lawson gets too big for his britches and begins to forget that he is in fact the number 2 driver at Red Bull?
That's the question.
And obviously we're both gone with Lando Norris and
Oscar Piastri
for the best driver pairing. I agree with that.
Yeah, all the potential in the world. Both of them race winners. Both of them potential world champions this year. It's just a matter who's going to be ahead at the crucial moment. And the best car as well, obviously.
Yeah. So I think we're both pretty sure that Lando Norris is going to win the world title. Or are you going Piastri?
If I had to pick right now, it's Lando.
Yep.
To be world champion. But if Oscar can get that consistency, he will challenge.
Yeah.
I think Lando's just faster than him at the moment. Oscar just needs that consistency. If Lando wins it this year and the car's decent next year, I could see Oscar winning it next year. I could see McLaren being on top for a couple of years here.
But the
new regs, you know. You know what McLaren do with new regulations? They just bring out a tractor. Next year's car is going to be literally a fucking John Deere painted orange. I know what they're like with new regular technications. They don't do well.
But I think the unknown about this, like we're sitting there going, it could come down to Norris and Piastri. Don't forget Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
Like he's that X factor.
Yeah.
You know,
He's the man. He's there.
I don't think that Max Verstappen's going to be walking away with a 5th world title.
No.
You know?
No. How long did he sign at Red Bull for? 2028?
Well, I was reading a thing this afternoon where there's a possibility that he could be jumping ship to Aston Martin next year.
Well, the car's a shitbox. He might not even be in a Red Bull.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but
Max Verstappen with Adrian Newey designing him a car powered by a Honda power unit. I mean, there's some consistency there.
yeah, but you got Fernando Alonso as your teammate.
Fernando couldn't tie Max's shoes, mate.
No.
You know, honestly.
You know.
Well, if Max goes over, is daddy firing his son?
Yeah, well.
Or does daddy imagine Lance Stroll as Max's teammate?
Oh, fuck.
It's like putting a quantum physicist next to a fucking preschooler and asking them to solve a Rubik's Cube.
What? I used this insult to describe a guy at work last week. That guy's so stupid he couldn't solve a Rubik's Cube if they were all painted the same fucking colour.
Yeah, that's it.
You
That's
know?
basically what Lance Stroll would be.
Yeah. He's just a window-licking spastic. Speaking of which, Rocket Power Mohawk, where is your new damn video?
He fucking did half of it and then stopped. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Everyone's got the shits with him at the moment. It came out that he's making about $100K a month. Just in Patreon and sponsorships and shit.
It's not good enough.
And he's done 7 minutes, which is on his Patreon, of the 2024 RPM Awards. And that was 2 months ago. 3 months ago? It was like just after Christmas. It's probably longer than that. The season starts this week. And he hasn't put out the award show from last year.
It's not good enough, mate.
It's not, mate. You're going to lose. You're the best F1 content out there.
Besides ours.
Besides us. You know, you're going to lose a lot of... Yeah. Strike while the iron's hot, mate. Come on. You're on fire. My only regret is I didn't find out about you until 6 months ago.
It's okay. We're making up for lost time.
Well, we're doing our job. We don't get paid $100K a month.
Yeah, we don't even get 100 cents.
Exactly.
We're on a few channels. We're on YouTube on Vindicator 18 channel, and I've actually got dedicated playlists now.
Oh, good.
Yes, but we're also on the F1 Chat dedicated YouTube channel as well.
We are.
We're on the Facebook page. Go to the F1 Chat on Facebook. We are on X as the F1 Chat 1.
Don't forget the one.
Don't forget the 1. Same with the YouTube channel. The dedicated one is the F1 Chat 1, so don't forget the 1 on that one. 1. We're also on Rumble with the F1 Chat. And we are also on Spotify as the F1 Chat.
Yes.
That was a nice little segue.
And none of them pay our bills.
No.
Or give me free fuel or fucking anything.
It doesn't even buy me a fucking sausage and egg McMuffin.
No.
Or a hash brown.
Oh, I've got to go and fuel my own tank up. Thank you, Rocket Power Mohawk.
Yeah.
You
So
know, we'll sit here and pump out premium F1 content in your absence.
Yes.
But when you get back,
Break out the cash, mate.
you better come back with some good shit.
Break out the cash, son, because
Swing
we'll be
us-
knocking on your door, mate, saying hand over.
We will find you.
We'll be like Chopper Reed.
Yeah.
You got 20 seconds to produce some cash, or I'm going to bloody shoot you. Eh? Eh? funny. Yeah. You know who sounds like Chopper?
Who?
Australian drain cleaner.
Australian drain cleaner.
Yeah, I'll show you once we finish this episode. I'll
Right.
put it on video for you. Right. So that's our proper first episode for the year.
Plant the flag. We're back.
We're back. You're bad. We're back. We're bad. You're black. I'm mad.
First race of the year this weekend.
Yep. At
March-
Melbourne.
March 16th, Albert Park, Melbourne.
It's
Go
gonna be a good
enjoy
one.
it because I'll be driving considerably slower in a big old Komatsu around my dirt track of wherever they send me.
Yeah, and it's not even painted in the Williams colours like some of
It
the
is,
specials.
it is yellow, so it's close to a McLaren colours.
Yeah, but Komatsu is a sponsor for Williams.
It is. Granted, but it's yellow. It's yellow and black, so that's as close as I'm going to get to pretending I'm Oscar Piastri winning his home race whilst driving around at 50 kilometres an hour with 400 tonnes of dirt.
All right. Well, thanks for joining in this first proper episode this year.
Feels good.
And yeah, we'll be back possibly next week with our review of what happened at the Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, once I'm able to watch the race in full, because I probably won't get a chance.
Yeah.
Might be able to watch the highlights
Mm-hmm.
after shift.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Until next time, it is goodbye.